All right. Crystal Harrison, welcome to Empower Network TV. Very excited to be interviewing you.
I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Amos.
It's my pleasure. And you have quite the story, and we're going to tell it. So, first of all, let's go. We entitled this LMFAO, which everyone kind of knows what that means, but that's a different acronym for you. What does that mean for you?
So I live by my own personal mantra, and it's my LMFAO. And it is to remind myself to love myself first, the L. The M is to make your bed. And in my case, it's to remind me to massage my scars. So I have to do a lot of physical therapy every day. And the LMFAO is the F is to have faith the size of a mustard seed, even like faith that the universe is working in your favor and not against you. The A is to acknowledge accomplishments. Just acknowledge that. Did you do the three before? Did you get up and love on yourself and sell yourself in the mirror and tell yourself how beautiful you are? And did you do those three things? Acknowledge that. Acknowledge that. If that's all you can do for today, that's okay. And then sometimes the O is just oxygen, breathe. Sometimes we just need to take a breath, or a few of them until the moments are bearable. Just and you'd be amazed how much that helps. And some people don't just take a second to breathe.
So, your days, you said before we got on camera, there's a lot of physical therapy. We talked about, 3 years. Where do you want to start your story?
Well, really, I'm a traumatic burn injury survivor. I survived a burn 4 years ago. And about 15 months ago, I decided to finally, I struggled with my sobriety and my physical therapy, my recovery, my burn recovery. I really struggled with looking in the mirror every day. Um, and so I had to remove myself from the situation that was enabling me to do whatever I wanted to do to relieve my pain. When people that you care about see that you are in pain, they want to help you relieve that pain. And some of the people that I was surrounding myself with allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do to relieve that pain, and it wasn't healthy. So 15 months ago, I got on a plane from Alaska and I left all of those habits in Alaska and manifested a new life on the other side of my addiction on that plane. And I just didn't know what the future held for me, but I knew I needed to get better and I needed to focus on what it was going to be like for who's Crystal now without drugs, now that she's burned, now that she really I can't be in the elements, I can't be in the hot, I can't be in the cold. And what does life look like after this injury? And while I started to learn about my own burn injury, I thought about, okay, I know that I'm not the only one. And because I was given 5% chance to live after my injuries. And I'm very thankful to be here every day. So how can I honor the lives lost for the research that was obtained to save my life? Really is my deep why. And so I started to learn about my own injury through the research companies that gave me the pamphlets to go home with. And I looked at those pamphlets and then I looked online and I contacted those research companies. And so University of Washington and Harborview is the hospital I was treated at. And then Burn Model Systems is attached to Harvard. And I just recently, I have networked with these big players in the burn community in order to share my story and help others who may be going through similar situations that I've encountered.
Can I ask you a hard question that maybe is not a hard question for you, or maybe it is, I don't know, but I hear a lot of things interviewing people. And one of the things I hear a lot of is that everything happens for me, not to me. How do you feel about that statement when referencing your recovery? How does that land for you? Is it bullshit? Is it true? Is it partially true? What is it?
It's very true. I believe that everything, I mean, it's hard. Everything happens for a reason. And uh, it's it's not happening to you, it is happening for you. It's sometimes these struggles in life are to let you let so you can let go of everything that's in your arms that you're carrying around. So you can finally I can't hold this anymore. It's too much, right? You have to just let it go. And so you can catch those blessings that are coming for you. But if you have all your hands full of yesterday's baggage and today's BS, you're not going to get the blessings coming for you. So I definitely think that life happens for you, not to you.
I got a buddy that always says BS is belief systems. All of our BS that we tell ourselves is all of our belief systems that we're not willing to drop. So, what has this done for you? How have your belief systems changed?
I believe in myself more than anybody else. Um, that's a hard question. I really have a lot of confidence in my own ability because I've come back from the brink of death. And so if I can get through that and be as beautiful as I still am, and as happy as I still am, and thankfully as mobile as I still am, um, then I can get through anything.
Inspirational. What was the what was it like facing yourself in the darkness?
So it was scary. Um, the first moment I remember like looking at my face in the mirror and saying, Crystal, if you don't learn to love this appearance, nobody else is. And at that point, my eye it was part of my injury after my burn injury. They had to stitch my eyes closed. And so my eyes were stitched closed to where I could only see out about this much. Just the pupil could see out. So I looked really crazy. And it stayed that way for 2 years after my burn injury. And I would look in the mirror and like people didn't know if I could see because it looked so crazy. I have some before pictures, but like it was hard for people to look at me and it was hard for me to go out in the public. And I would get angry because people see your face and they just can't keep the shock off their face. And they're like, they want to know immediately what happened to you or if you're okay or what is wrong with you. And nothing is wrong with me. I was in a bad fire. And that was something to just get to that succinctness of what happened. Nothing's wrong with me. I was in a bad fire. That took a long time to be able to just 5 words. Nothing is wrong. I was in a fire. You know, for a long time, it was just hard. There are a lot of things surrounding my injury that I don't share with a lot of people, but my my burn was self-inflicted. I had a momentary lapse in judgment and I poured gas on myself and lit myself on fire. And I'm very thankful to be here today, but that's not something that defines me. Now, like what pushed me to that point, what was going on, and how can I avoid ever feeling like that again? And now that I have shared that story with others, I have built a community around people that know that what happened. I don't have to feel judged about that. I did have a momentary lapse in judgment. I'm working every day to change that. I had that was a profound ripple when I did that. Everybody in my family felt the hurt. But so now I love seeing the ripples on the Empower Network TV because I use that word all the time about I have, you know, there's been a lot of bad things that have happened in my life. How can I change that to have a ripple effect in the other direction?
Beautiful. I wanted to ask you, when you look back before the accident, when you look back on your life prior and you think of, you know what I mean? Like we all have these excuses, right? Of why we can't, why we're not enough. When you look back on what you used to think was valid and how fucking strong you've become, What do you think of the bullshit excuses that
They, they frustrate me. Like that's a limiting belief. The limiting belief. Like, why do you feel like that? When I that's yeah, it's excuses frustrate me because I have to tell myself too, like, am I like I self-assess all the time. And I'm like, am I really resisting it, procrastinating it, or trying to make an excuse for it? And if it's any of those, I'm like, get up and do it. If I'm at the point of leaning into the discomfort, okay, I almost, when you first invited me to this interview, it was before the new year. And I was like, oh, he's got a lot of followers. I don't know if I'm ready yet. I'm like, nope, you're ready. Because I just leaning into that uncomfort. Like, why are you afraid? Okay, well, I've nothing to lose and everything to gain.
I admire
And
you?
so things that scare me, I really try to do more of them now.
Good for you. Crystal, I'm right there with you. I want to be as brave as you because that's what I'm trying to do is to lean into. A lot of people in this community are trying to lean into what feels scary because isn't fear kind of like, if it's not our friend, isn't it pointing to the gold that we're not picking up that belongs to us?
All the gold we're leaving just along the trail because we're just want to. We've been taught to just back down and be less. And I am excited to have a community of people that see that and nope, be more. You got to be more.
And I would say it's be you and more and be you because so you're not apologizing. What I love about you is you're not apologizing for how you're showing up. You're not apologizing for your story. You're not apologizing for how you got here. You're embracing it all. I didn't know this when before I because as you know, I don't ask anyone anything before I interview them. I refuse to plan it. I want it to be organic. And I didn't know you're going to come on here and say that you've actually, you're unapologetically telling the truth.
Thank you. That's what it's about. The things that you don't talk about, the things that those are going to keep you stuck, keep you sick. And that's the simple fact that I was using drugs. I was not taking care of myself. I don't know all the answers, everything that led up to that moment. I know that I thought about my actions for less than 5 minutes before that I acted them out. I was triggered, I was upset, and I was in remote Alaska. I'm very lucky we didn't have running water. I'm very lucky to be talking to you today.
What do you say to people that are scared to tell themselves the truth about how they feel, truly feel about themselves, something inside, circumstances, anything that they're not aligned with? What would you say? What do you say to people that are scared to let themselves out?
You are not alone. You're not the first person who ever felt like that. Probably not the first person who's experienced what you're experiencing in life, in love, in your body. There's lots of people on this planet, and I am not the only person that is just burned and alive still. I thought that I was the only one. Um, and now that I actually have come out of my hobbit hole, like being a recluse and trying to actually face the world, I'm learning I'm not the only one. And there are people that are so amazed that I'm still here. They do want to talk to me. And I do have something to contribute. And so does everybody else. We all have something to contribute in our own unique way. So my appearance is never going to be what it was before my fire. Um, so we gotta just let that past self, or past self go. It's like a grieving process too. You have to grieve that person that you thought you were going to be, the person that, you know yeah, you just have to grieve that person that you thought you were going to be at that point, and know that your higher self and your a better version of yourself is on the other side of all that uncomfortable work. I had to go through a lot of therapy and really get real with what was holding me back, and know that I was the only one that was going to be able to change it. Nobody was going to be able to get up and do my physical therapy for me. Nobody's going to, I have to, there's lots of different little things that I have to remember every day. And if I don't remember, nobody else remembers them either, because it's too much.
So your mindset game has had to go way up. Your mindset.
Definitely.
Uh, I'm assuming you're writing a
And
book.
the amount of, yes, I am. I have that I created a digital media company in June to share my story online, and because I'm writing a memoir. It's called The Burn, the Broken, and the Beautiful, a memoir of me. And it tells about my whole story and like all of it. I have two adult children who've been through this with me as well, who still thankfully are amazing, productive people in society and have not taken it as personally as they could have. And this my accident has actually brought me closer to my friends and my family, and it's a whole nother level of responsibility, but it's and discipline. I am disciplined about the content that I consume and the things that I put into my body, the people I'm around, the books that I read. I don't even watch TV because it's too triggering for my PTSD.
I'm just thankful you're here. Thank you for being brave to face the world, to face yourself. It's inspiring.
Thank you so much for having me, Amos. I'm really just excited to be embarking on this journey. I have a few more little trips planned for this year, and I don't feel like I would have been as prepared for these trips without being part of the Empower Network TV group.
How long have you been here? Like I remember when I invited you to be interviewed, but has it been about a month or how long
I
has
think
it
it's
been?
been about 6 weeks.
What are you gaining from the community? It would help others to know. I probably should ask him more, but what are you finding good about it?
Just the amount of just different people that are really kind of like-minded towards the same goal, trying to escape this broken system of, people. Our system has created people to not be empowered to do their own thing. They want to be, they want them to be workers in society and just do what they tell them. And a lot of people don't know how to say, no, this is what I want to do, and it's creative and it's outside the box, but how do I do it? And so, excuse me, sorry. Um, the Empower Network TV, just so many, there's coaches and there's people at different levels, and everybody just willing to help each other. And I haven't gone through all of the content, but there's just so much and so many people that are, I haven't, I haven't seen anything that was bad, actually. It's just, and just to know that the amount of people that are already in the circles that I am in, saw like there's probably about 10 of my friends on my Facebook that are part of your group.
Can we give a few of them a shout
And
if you're open
so
to it?
those are like,
Besides, can we give a few a shout out?
I'm
Like I
sorry,
know, can you give a couple shout outs to some of your friends that are here?
Eric, Amy McCoskey, Stevie Marie, Derek, I can't say his last name, but it's Cause. Melissa Evans. Those are the ones that I could think of off the top of my head.
Awesome. Sorry,
Oh, Teresa Arthur, my bestie.
your bestie, Teresa. Okay, well, thank you all for being here. And sorry, I interrupted you. I just wanted to ask you to give a shout out, but you were saying something else.
Thank you.
Well, what is 2024 going to hold for you? What is on?
A lot of training and events. I am going to Denver on the 25th of January to a personal development event for my school. And that'll be the first trip outside of where I live all by myself since leaving Alaska. And I don't know how many people are supposed to be there, but it says on the event details that only 300 people are allowed to go. So I'm expecting 300 people to be there. There'll probably be less, but it's a lot of people. And I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that's burned. and but it's all people that I interact with online, and so it'll be nice to actually meet them in person. These the founders of my school actually, I I really feel like they're like family to me because of all of their curriculum and education that has helped me. And so it's just going to be really exciting to give them a big hug in person. And I hope to be done with my manuscript by March of 2025 in order to publish it on my own. And working on my blog websites. I was just accepted to the Burn Model Injury, it's Burn Model Systems, which is the research company through Harvard. I was invited to take part in the CLIMB research study for burn survivors, and it will help researchers develop better practices and protocols for burn survivors in the future. Lots going on.
Sounds like a very busy 2024 for you.
I'm excited.
Well, I'm thrilled you've been on ENTV today. Crystal, you're inspiring and brave to tell the truth. It's one thing to show up, and it's a whole nother thing to tell the truth about why we got where we got. And you're just inspiring.
Thank you for having me, Amos. And I'm excited I'm gonna be on some of the first date events. I think I'm gonna schedule some of those.
Good. We'll be launching more within a week. They'll be scheduled, and people can come on to multiple ones too. So those will be released in the next week.
I saw that.
Yeah. The goal is to connect everybody with.
And
yeah.
I wanted to tell you congratulations on 5,000.
Thanks. I never thought 1 year would be here. Like my goal was like my big blue dream was like, oh, 2,500 people in a year. That would be amazing because that is amazing. And so I never thought it would be this good.
Well, it's amazing, and I'm so thankful. Thank you.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for people like you because, yeah, I'm the catalyst, the container, but it takes amazing people like yourself coming on, telling your story, and also taking the time to watch other stories to glean from them. And you're doing all of that, I know, because you've told me. So thank you because it starts with one. Thank you for being you, Crystal, and thank you for being here today. All right. Well, if you've been watching Empowered, me too. If you've been watching Empowered Network TV today, Crystal Harrison, reach out to her. I'll be tagging her in this interview. If you're on the YouTube or the podcast after, jump in the group, connect with her. If you'd like to, she'd love to connect with you and tell her how she inspired you today. Crystal, we'll end the broadcast here and we'll just keep chatting.